I guess it should be now. I have just started the streaming again. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, I hope by now you all would be able to hear me and see me very clearly. Everybody, class, just let me know if we are live and you are able to hear me properly. Everybody in the chat, please let me know if we are live. Hi Deepak, hi Aarti, hi everybody. Good evening everyone. So sorry for the technical glitch. All right. Hi Rohit, how are you? How's everyone out there? Quickly. So we have got lots of interesting things to discuss, particularly for the IELTS speaking subtest, right? Okay. So we are going to do a couple of exercises and we are going to discover by ourselves some top tips that you will need for a high band score. So how many of you are actually struggling in IELTS speaking? If I must ask you, if I ask you how many of you are actually struggling with this module, sometimes you might feel like, oh, IELTS speaking is a test which I find very challenging. So what exactly is it? Do you also struggle with this module and you need some authentic tips and strategies for a high band score? Okay, you're stuck at a 6. Okay, all right. So we are going to do self discovery today, right? I will not be giving you some so-called tips or quick fixes because I don't believe in quick fixes. I want you to discover by yourself. So are you ready to embark on that journey, everybody? All right. So I have the very first exercise coming in for you people. I hope you guys would find this very interesting. Yes. Now, this is understanding the IELTS speaking test. Okay, you will hear a person talking about the IELTS speaking test, but you'll have to hear it. All right, so we are going to do two things: listening to the speaker and completing the blanks. I hope you people are ready. Okay, so as the audio starts, you'll have to tell me if that audio is audible to you. Is that fine, class? Everybody, I'm about to start the audio. Okay, cool. Let's start then. Let's start, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to start the audio. If you are able to hear it, you have to type audible. Okay, let's start.
Chapter 1. Understanding the test. Listening 1. Listen to a candidate talking about the IELTS test. Exercise 1. Fill in the gaps as you listen to answer questions 1 to 6. What is different about the 3 parts of the test? How many expressions with end do you hear?
Although I'd practiced for hours on end, I was still quite nervous before my speaking test because I didn't know what to expect. In the end, it was really not as bad as I thought it would be. In parts 1 and 2, the topics were much more personal, and I mostly spoke about myself, my family, friends, and experiences I'd had. I did notice the test changed in part 3. The questions seemed more formal to me, and I had to speak more about local and global issues. I suppose, at the end of the day, it was like any interview. I had to listen carefully to the questions and make sure my answers were clear.
All right, class, Did you hear some common expressions, common end expressions? Hi Neha, good evening. So can you let me know what were those expressions? How many expressions could you hear? How many expressions for end could you hear? Could you hear some expressions using end? Everybody. Were there any expressions that the speaker had used? Okay, so let's talk about the first one. Although I'd practiced for hours, what about the first blank? She said on end. She said on end, if I'm not wrong. I was still quite nervous before my speaking test because I didn't know what to expect. What about the second blank? You are going to tell me the answer for the second one. So which expression was it? Which one was it for the second one? She said dash. It was really not as bad as I thought it would be. Yes, very good, Aarti. In the end. In the end, it was really not as bad as I thought it would be. In parts 1 and 2, the topics were much more. What about the third one? This is all about understanding the IELTS speaking test. In parts 1 and 2, the topics were much more personal. Exactly. Class, please hit the like button. Correct. The topics were much more personal and I mostly spoke about myself, my family, friends and experiences I had had. I did notice the test changed in part 3. The questions seemed more formal to me and I had to speak more about dash and dash issues. So what kind of questions do you get in part 3? The questions are more formal and I had to speak more about local, correct and global issues. Okay. I suppose dash, it was like any interview and I had to listen carefully to the questions. Everyone. At the end, yes, I suppose at the end. I suppose at the end it was like any interview. I had to listen carefully to the questions. Cool? Is that fine, everybody? This is all about understanding the IELTS test. Okay.
Chapter 1.
Okay, are you ready for the second one? I will give you some answers, some responses, and you have to tell me which part do they belong to. Okay? I will show you some answers and you have to tell me if they belong to part 1 of the speaking test, part 2 or part 3. Alright? Okay. Now, the first answer is, when I think about old buildings, one particular building springs to mind. It is in the north of my country and I went there with my family last year. So, is it related to part 1, part 2 or part 3? What do you say? What do you say? So this response belongs to which part of the IELTS speaking test? Part 3 or part 4? Part 3, really? Somebody is telling their opinion, which is their favorite building. Really? Just think about it. Is it related to part 1 or part 3? They are saying, when I think about old buildings, one particular building springs to mind. It is in the north of my country and I went there with my family last year. So exactly this belongs to which part of the test? Part 1, part 2 or part 3? Everybody, come on. Part 1, exactly. So this belongs to part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. Second question, second answer I must say, it is the way I see it. Music and culture cannot be separated. But then again, it does also depend on other factors like age and how you were brought up. What about this response, everybody? So the person is telling, can music and culture be separated? Yes. This belongs actually to the third part of the IELTS speaking test, which is a kind of very abstract topic. Alright? Yes. Now, the third answer that says teachers need to be more aware of how their behavior can affect the way their students learn. My own personal experiences and those of my friends certainly prove that this is the case. Like many others, we had teachers whose methods actually made us not want to learn. Again, this answer belongs to part 3 of the IELTS speaking test. Right? Correct. Now, fourth one says, I absolutely hate cooking. I'll make up an excuse not to have to do it. So somebody has asked, the candidate, do you love cooking? The candidate says, I absolutely hate cooking. I'll make up any excuse not to have to do it. Yes, this is part 1. Okay, the fifth response says, I'm going to talk about the friend I spend most time with. I have known her since I was a child. In fact, our mothers were close friends. So we probably saw each other most weekends. So this belongs to which part of the IELTS test? IELTS speaking test. Correct. So this belongs to part 2 of the IELTS speaking test. Now, the third or the sixth response, it says, well, I have been doing the same job now for about 10 years. I'm a doctor and I work in a general hospital, but I also run my own private clinic. So that means somebody has asked the candidate, how long have you been into the same job? Correct. So now you have a rough idea of what you might expect in the 3 different parts of the test. Everybody? Okay. Now, the third tip that I want to give you people is that you must be expert in expressing your likes and dislikes. A very common, function for the IELTS speaking test. Because in part 1 and part 2, so you will definitely have to say what you like and what you don't like. Agree? So you need to learn some common words, common expressions which are used to describe likes and dislikes, or maybe give reasons why you prefer that particular preference. Okay? So we are going to do the same thing. Listen to 2 candidates answering the part 1 question. So kitne candidates ko hum sunne wale hain? We are going to listen to 2 candidates answering the same question. Alright? All we want to see is how do they express their likes and dislikes. Everybody, are we clear on this? I'm going to play the audio wherein 2 candidates are going to answer the part 1 question, and we have to note down some words, some expressions which they use to express likes and dislikes. Alright? What expressions do they use to show their likes and dislikes? Do they give any reasons for these? What tenses do they use? Okay. Now, the question is, do you like keeping flowers in your house? Everybody? Now, according to you, which tense do you need to answer this question? So, if I simply ask you, which tense do you need to answer this question? It simply says, do you like keeping flowers in your house? Which tense would you need to answer this question? Present tense. And to be precise, simple present tense. Correct. Now, what did I tell you? We have to listen to the 2 speakers. Alright? We have to listen to the 2 speakers. How do they express their likes? How do they express their dislikes? So will you be able to note down some important words from the audio? If I play the audio, is that fine? from the audio you have to see what are the expressions, what are the words that the speakers use to express their likes or dislikes, and what are the reasons that they give. Cool. Let's start for speaker 1. So let's start for speaker 1 first, then we'll move on to speaker 2. Okay. All right, everybody, class, be ready. Okay. Okay.
Chapter 2. Explaining your likes and dislikes. Exercise 1, Listening 3. Listen to 2 candidates answering the part 1 question below. Make notes in the table as you listen.
Do you like keeping flowers in your house?
If I'm honest, I don't care that much for flowers. My wife is the one who usually buys them. Of course I buy them for her birthday and our wedding anniversary, but apart from that, I don't pay much attention to them. If they're in our home, and I certainly wouldn't buy them unless I had to, flowers are really not the be-all and end-all of my life. If they are there, then they are there, but really, I could quite happily live without them.
Were you able to listen? What was the reason that he gave? Now I want you to tell me the reason that he gave. Why doesn't he like keeping flowers in his house? What is the reason that he gave? So the expressions that he used was, I don't care that much. Flowers are not the beginning and end of my life. Right? But I want you to tell me the reasons that the speaker 1 gave. So what was the reason that he gave? What was the reason? Quickly. So he said, I don't care that much. Flowers are not the beginning and end of my life. What was the reason that he gave? What was the reason that the speaker 1 gave for his answer? Only in some occasions. Correct? Okay, he said my wife loves keeping flowers, but I only buy them on occasions like wedding anniversaries or birthday parties. That's what he said, if I'm not wrong. That's what he said, that he loves, he occasionally buys flowers in case of only, some special occasion like wedding anniversary or a birthday party. Alright, chalo. Let's hear it for the second speaker. Let's hear it for the second speaker.
Do you like keeping flowers in your house?
Absolutely. I can't imagine my life without them. I try and have fresh flowers in the house each week, just because to me they are incredibly beautiful and they have such a good smell. I also love the vibrant colours, the reds, the pinks, the yellows. When you look at a bunch of flowers, you can't help but feel happy. Oh well, that's what happens to me anyway.
Okay, I guess that was pretty easy for you. She said, I can't imagine my life without flowers. So because of their smell, vibrant colors, she feels happy. That those all were the reasons why she likes keeping flowers in her house. Agree? So she mentioned the smell, the vibrant colors, and then the happiness that she gets. And the expressions that she had used was, I can't imagine my life. Yes, correct. So was it helpful for you? So please make a note that you have some expressions in hand to express your likes and dislikes. Okay, so that's very, very important. Correct, it gives her happiness. Correct.
Chapter 2.
Okay. Now, the next part that I'm going to talk about is pronunciation, which most of you neglect while preparing for IELTS. Yes, everybody talks about pronunciation, but nobody tells you how. Right? Now, see, so that's what I'm saying. Pronunciation can, go unnoticed in your preparation. So, although it's a very important part in your speaking, because if you make mistakes while pronouncing words, you will lose marks in the test. Now, how to work on that? See, the thing is, the entire concept is, if the examiner cannot understand what you are saying, then do you expect him to give you scores? If I simply ask you, let's say, if the examiner cannot understand what you're saying, then can you expect them to give you scores? If you're not, pronouncing words correctly, then do you expect them to give you scores? No, absolutely not. Yeah, so always remember, you have to open your mouth, even it feels, unnatural. Agree? Because it's a speaking test and you have to open your mouth. You don't have any choice there. You don't have any choice there. You cannot keep your mouth shut. Right? Nobody is going to give you scores for keeping your mouth shut. Even if it feels unnatural, you have to open your mouth. Right? Do not speak through your teeth. There are people who speak through their teeth. You might have seen yourself. They don't speak, properly with an open mouth. They just, speak through their teeth. And you might think, and उन लोगों से ना engage भी नहीं हो पाते हो. People are not able to engage with those speakers who speak through their teeth. Right? You might have seen. And do not mumble. Do not speak in a very low tone and the other person cannot hear you. Do not do that. Speak at a proper pace and at a proper pitch. Make sure that you have pronounced the ends of words or sentences. Sometimes, let's say, I used to go. I have seen most of the times people do not pronounce the last consonant D. Does that happen with you also? And it sounds like, if they don't stress on D, वो पता कैसे सुनने में आता है? I used to go. Happens. So that's what I want to tell you. You have to pronounce the ends of words or sentences very clearly. Because if you do not stress on this consonant, तो ये आपका tense change हो जाएगा. I used to go. Right? I danced at the party. So let's say I danced at the party and I dance at the party. The meaning would be altered, right? I danced at the party and I dance at the party. So that's what I'm saying. So whenever you are speaking, make sure you pronounce the ends of words or sentences very clearly, because they make a drastic impact on your score and a drastic change in the meaning. Even S or EX also. Correct? It provides S or ES. Very right. And do not swallow sounds. Again, कई बार क्या होता है, हम बीच में से sounds खा जाते हैं. We don't say them loud and clear. Yes? So whenever you are pronouncing words, make sure that you give equal importance to all sounds in the words. Okay? And the next part is pausing and chunking. Now it's not that you have to keep on speaking like a robot. No. You have to pause and you have to chunk. Now what is chunking? I'll tell you. See, जब हम writing करते हैं, हम क्या use करते हैं? To give pauses, what do we use? If I simply ask you, जब आप essays लिखते हो, reports लिखते हो, you write anything. You write emails, you write letters. What do you use to give pauses in your writing? We use punctuation marks. We use full stops, question marks, right? So the same thing you have to do in speaking also. When we speak, we need to do some things to make sure that our ideas are easy to follow by the listener. Now, first of all, breathe. That's very, very important. Okay? So whenever you go into the exam room, you have to do a little bit of warm up. Correct? You have to do a little bit of warm up. So on your way to the speaking test center, what you can do is you can try speaking, right? So that it comes naturally as you enter the test room. That's a quite important exercise. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि बस रात को उठे, कुछ नहीं बोले और सोचा कि जाके बस सिर्फ एग्जामिनर के सामने ही बोलेंगे, तब तक चुप रहेंगे. No. Warm up as much as you can, because that will give you a good exercise for your pitch, for your loudness, for everything. So that's why I'm saying, before you go into the exam room, breathe and do a little bit of warm up. Okay? Pause in the right places. Pause in the right places. Break up what you say into logical chunks. Right? अब now I am speaking to you all. अब क्या ऐसा है कि मैं सारा का सारा एक ही टाइम पे बोल रहा हूँ? When we write, we use punctuation to make our writing easier to follow. Am I speaking that way? No. What I am doing is, I am breaking my sentence into chunks. I am not stressing on every word individually, but I am stressing on them in manageable parts. Okay? If I divide the sentence into chunks, I will be more fluent and I will be able to pause at a natural speed. For example, when we write, we use punctuation to make our writing easier to follow. I hope you are able to get me. Understood? So that is called chunking. Whenever you are speaking, do not speak each word individually, but speak them in chunks. If you pause in the wrong places, you will lose marks. Okay? You will sound unsure of what you mean. ऐसा लगेगा कि आप sure ही नहीं हो जो आप बोलना चाहते हो. And this will break your flow of ideas. And जब ideas का flow break हो जाता है, आपको पता है क्या होता है? You lose confidence, right? And you will also sound unnatural. Everybody. Are we clear, everyone? Are we clear, everybody? Alright? Okay. Now, the next part is your intonation. I always ask you people to be a little bit excited about, your speaking. I always tell you, बोलता हूँ ना कि be a little bit excited whenever you are speaking. Because intonation is the best way to show your attitudes and what you feel about the topic, right? And in English intonation, whenever we ask a question, our voice usually goes high, right? And when we want to show the completion, it falls, right? What did you do? So the intonation goes up. Where were you last weekend? The intonation went up. I went to the market. The intonation went up. Alright? So in English intonation, the voice goes up in case of questions and it falls for completing the statements. Now the exam tip is that English intonation is not monotonous. If you talk like a robot without any, a variation in your pitch, it will be difficult to follow if your voice does not rise and fall naturally. Alright? Now that's what I wanted you people to know. Okay? So that is it, everybody. If you like this session, please do hit the like button. And we have a big surprise planned for all of you. So what is that big surprise? We are going to be official partners with one of the creators of the IELTS. And trust me, by today midnight, you will be able to know the name of the partner who's the creator of the IELTS and their partnership with Unacademy. So today midnight, we are going to reveal the partner's name. And with this partnership, we are also going to launch our one-on-one mentorship program and personalized assistance. Also, with this partnership, we'll be giving you some resources which are both useful and reliable. And with this, partnership, all the pedagogy, the curriculum would be designed by the, official creators of the IELTS only. And today at 8 o'clock, just after 15 minutes, we have a free special class that's also on speaking. Okay, ji? For that, you just need to enter the code Gurpreet10 and you will be good to go. And also the prices of subscription will rise today itself. Alright? So that's a quick notice for all of you. The prices of Unacademy Plus subscription for IELTS, they are increasing today. And if you people want to subscribe and be a part of my Plus group, or any of your friends wants to do that, please ask them to do it today, because today midnight, since our partnership will be revealed, so the prices will either double or triple. That's a quick notice from my end, class. Please ask your classmates to do it. Ask your friends to subscribe before the prices rise today midnight. Okay? Alright G, but don't forget to use the referral code Gurpreet10. Although this unbox offer is till June 30, but since our partnership is going to be official today at midnight, we would want all of you not to lose on that offer and use the referral code Gurpreet10 to join us on Unacademy. Alright, and you can also join us on Telegram. The Telegram channel is Unacademy IELTS. The link is already shared to you. Till then, take care everybody. Do not forget to hit the like button, share it to your friends and classmates, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you stay notified whenever I have a live class for you. Bye-bye. Take care everybody. This is Gurpreet Singh signing off for today, and I will catch you very soon tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take